بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم ألهمنا مراشد أمورنا وأعذنا من شرور أنفسنا. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. لقد كان لسبأ في مسكنهم آية جنتان عن يمين وشمال كلوا من رزق ربكم واشكروا له بلدة طيبة ورب غفور. صدق الله العظيم. Allah Ta'ala in the Quran Kareem has given many ayat, many signs, many indications, many lessons. Allah Ta'ala has explained of the condition of the people of the past, and it was meant to be read by the people of the present to explain to them of their own future. Ali radiallahu anhu will say, فِيهِ خَبَرُ مَنْ كَانَ وَنَبَأُ مَا يَكُونُ. And it is the news of the people who passed and information for the people who will come. So we will explain of the people of the past, which in this verse has been described, and in what manner it was described, and in that there was an indication that remember a time again will come where you might see the same error. And the result of the people of the past most likely will be the people of the future. How they made the mistake in the past, the desire of ayat of Quran is me and you don't make a mistake. لَقَدْ كَانَ لِسَبَإٍ فِي مَسْكَنِهِمْ آيَةٌ. Surah Saba is a surah. The surah is named Saba. But the Saba issue in the Quran which is discussed, the Sahabi radiallahu anhu asked Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam that he inform us what is Saba. لَقَدْ كَانَ لِسَبَإٍ فِي مَسْكَنِهِمْ آيَةٌ. What is the Saba? Was it a man, a woman, a mountain? Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said Saba was a man. He was a man from the Arab. So this ayah, the sign of Saba was what a sign? It was meant primarily for the Arabs and then for the rest of the world who will be behind the Arab. And as we will explain the coming, the future Saba, which we will most likely see glimpses of it in the next few years, we will hear of a different world which for many, many centuries no one knew about. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, the hour will not be established, لا تقوم الساعة. Qiyamah will not come. حتى تعود أرض العرب. Until the time will come when the lands of the Arabs, تعود أرض العرب مروجا وأنهارا. The land of the Arabs, which for years, centuries was known as Sahara. They call it in Arabic the Sahara Desert. In Arabic the name was, in English they call it Sahara, but the name Arabic is Sahara. Sahara means barren, desert. But today all have agreed, the masters of geography, geology, whatever they call them, they said after years of digging, they also understood that once upon a time this land of the Arabs was not a desert. What a word Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used, حَتَّى تَعُودَ أَرْضُ الْعَرَبِ. Until a day comes when the land of the Arabs will return to being gardens. Merge refers to grazing areas. We're not talking of a garden in your backyard. Grazing areas where the animals can just go out and they can eat. Ask the farmer. You have a backyard garden that you can just put your own lawn. You import the lawn from China also. You have few chickens and you say, see my farm, no one will call it a farm. A grazing land where they say for every animal you need so much of grass. And that animal cannot continue eating that, it has to then move by the season so that this has a chance to regrow. Grazing land is even more than what you will say, I got a farm. The farmer will tell you what is grazing land. Today, because of the shortage of grazing land, the animals are being fed. They are being fed so much that the baby animal is blowing up big. He said a time will come, the hour will not be established, when the land of the Arabs will return to what it was. Marj, Muruj, grazing lands, Anhara and gardens with rivers flowing. Rivers, desert means no water. That's why you say, where's the camel? It can survive without water. So the day will come when the gardens and the rivers will be moving in the lands of the Arabs. If we ever see this in the next few years, and you don't have to look far, already if you're making now the journey from Makkah Mukarramah to Madina Munawwarah, you'll already start seeing greenery. And you wonder that did someone plant this in the last few years? Now the whole story has changed. And even non-Muslim, even atheists, they have admitted that in the past, this was gardens. Quran had indicated that it was a garden. Nabi Sallallahu also indicated it was a garden. And Allah Ta'ala spoke about the Anbiya of the past who lived in the lands of the Arabs. Says the Nabi told the people, that do you think you will be remaining in these gardens forever? Today when you look at the lands who he spoke to, those people, when we look at their lands, there's no gardens there. When that Nabi spoke, he said, do you think you will remain in these gardens forever? People would wonder now, what gardens was he speaking about? Today the people say after digging there were gardens. You need gardens in these lands. The order, and one day it will become. So in German, he had a discussion with a scholar. The scholar said to him that, how do you think Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam knew that once upon a time the land of the Arab was gardens? The German was an atheist, perhaps he's still alive, who knows? Recent these are. So the best he could answer is perhaps the Romans told him about it. Because the Romans knew about the past. Because the Arabs had no knowledge. They had no writings. They were ummi. So perhaps the Romans. The scholar kept quiet. He says, then how did Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam know that one day the land of the Arab will again become gardens? Then the German went quiet. Said, you today are saying because of climate change, because of so much of rainfall in a land which never had rain. But how did he know? Then the German went quiet. Then the German said, what do you want me to say? You want me to say that the creator of the heavens and the earth told him about it? That's what you want me to say. And then the scholar laughed and he said, I'll write it down, you write it. And that's what you yourself know is the only answer. And you will see these lands, one you will say the messenger of Allah spoke the truth. But at the same time, he was not just telling us what's going to happen. He said, remember, Qiyamah is around the corner. And whenever he meant Qiyamah is around the corner, it's like me and you normally when people say, let's talk about Qiyamah, it's like exciting stuff. When a Sahabi radiallahu anhu asked, Mata sa'a ya Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, when is Qiyamah? First question he asked, he said, are you ready for it? مَاذَا أَعْدَدْتَ لَهَا? Why he had to say that? Because just before Qiyamah will come the hardest test man has ever faced from the time of Nabi Adam alayhi salam. When you will see the greenery coming in the Arab lands, be ready for the test. It comes with the greenery. When you see farms, you'll say, what a nice life. لَقَدْ كَانَ لِسَبَإٍ فِي مَسْكَنِهِمْ آيَةٌ. Allah says, indeed, for the people of Saba, in the dwellings of the people of Saba is ayah, what a sign. He said, who was Saba? He said he was a man of the Arab who was blessed with 10 sons. 6 of his sons went towards the lands of Yemen. So he was known as the father of Yemen, Abu Yemen. And 4 of his sons went to Sham. And now he becomes the family link of all the Arabs of the lands of Sham and Yemen, Saba. But from those sons, some of them went to a certain place, and that place became known as Saba. Bilqis, who later on would accept Islam on the hands of Sulaiman alayhi salam, she was responsible for the bringing up of this land of Saba. They called her when they needed, they couldn't govern the land. She looked at the land and she understood the amount of rainfall this land is getting is beyond understanding. And what we will see in the next few years, that they will say rainfall which was not normal. When you're hearing about floods in many countries, you say, don't they have the system for the rain? They'll say, we never had rain like this. When rain will go beyond its norm, it will cause flooding and it will cause gardens. There was a lot of rain in that land. She looked and she saw that between these 2 mountains, if I can establish a dam that was known as Arma is a dam, so it means dams, but it means many walls. If I can establish a dam, then as that water will fall, it won't be wasted. It will be able to be gathered because it's mountains. So between the mountains, if I get a dam and then I have gates, open certain gates and the water, we can use it for the entire year. So you don't have summer and winter. Because when the winter comes and there's no rain, we got water forever. So our trees will be irrigated all the time. No season issue. They say the land of Saba became so unique. Allah Ta'ala describes it, Baldatun Tayyiba, what a land. Mufassirin describe it, a woman would enter Jannatani an yamini wa shimal, the gardens on the right and the left. A woman would put a basket on her head and walk. She would not need to stretch her hand to anything. Before she would exit the garden, that basket would be filled with fruit. The fruit was just falling. All she had to do was walk with the basket, and she would get her full. They say it was a land in which there was no snake, hayya, there was no aqrab, scorpion, there was no ba'uda, mosquito, there was no fly. It was a land in which there was no sickness. They say if a man entered with clothing which what we call today lice, then instead of where you say your lice, or in our madrasa we have something called bed bugs. So every time when the students come to the madrasa, some of them bring the bed bugs and some of them take back the bed bugs. So the one student, he'll come, so when he goes home, bed bugs will move from Africa to Barbados. So in Barbados, while they're cleaning up, he'll go back to bring home. So it's just a movement. But in that land, you entered, if your clothing had lice, the lice would die when the person would enter. The air would be so clean that a person could not be sick in that land. Could not be sick. Baldatun Tayyiba, when Allah said, what a pure land, Warabbun Ghafoor, and what a merciful Allah. Look at that word, Warabbun Ghafoor. Why was Warabbun Ghafoor mentioned? And such gifts are normally supposed to be given to those who are the servants of Allah. And Allah says, but I was giving it to those who never even wanted to know Allah. In that way, Allah that was just overlooking. But that overlooking, what we call forgive and forget happens in this world. We might think in the next few years we will see people living it up. And we will say, but they are so far from Allah. I want you to remember this verse, Baldatun Tayyiba, what a world, wa Rabbun Ghafoor, and what an Allah who's just overlooking. فَأَعْرَضُوا, but they turned away from Allah and the punishment had to come one day. فَأَعْرَضُوا, they turned. Some of us have mentioned over 13 Anbiya alayhimus salam was sent to them. 13 Nabis. But in that land, 13 Nabis could not have an effect on them. We in the next few years are going to see the revival of Saba. In the land of the Arabs, we will see the creation of such a land. One will be the natural gardens which the land of the Arabs have to get again greenery. And one will be an unnatural which will look more natural than the natural. With different words, this thing has been introduced. Perhaps you have not heard about it. Some places, when I mentioned it a few years ago, people heard nothing of it. So some people felt, why are you telling us about something which is not good? Just like how Allah Ta'ala told every one of us of the devil in Quran, and the devil is not good. And when Allah discussed the devil, it wasn't, oh man, you heard about it, go look for the devil. It was the devil is going to come looking for you. At least be aware that he's coming. Allah Ta'ala said, the devil said, I will sit on the road, I will wait. I will come from the right and the left, from the front and behind. Allah mentioned the nature of the devil, how he was created, what his nature is, how he speaks, what he will say. Everything was mentioned, not to go look for the devil. Say, you don't worry, the devil will come to you. When the devil comes, the man who knows what is called a devil, when he will see it, Allah Ta'ala says, remember he took out the clothing of your mother and your father. Iblis, when Adam alayhi salam and Hawa radiallahu anha were clothed with the clothes of Jannah, it was Iblis and the promises of Iblis that made their clothing come out. Allah Ta'ala said, he took out the clothing of your parents. He brought them into nakedness. And then Allah Ta'ala said, La yaftinannakum ash-shaytan. Let the devil not put you in the same trap. The one who read this verse, when that person, that woman, that man walked on this roads of Barbados, of Africa, of Reunion, of Mauritius, now the whole world, and they began seeing people taking off their clothing. And that Muslim girl would say, I'll never ever do this because my Allah warned me. And it was the devil who took out my parents' clothing, he's going to try to do the same with me. But the one who was not warned, they would see someone walking naked and they'll say how nice it is to be. And they also will start taking it. The one who was warned of the coming of a garden, when we will see the garden, the demand of this warning is don't run into the garden like how people in the past ran. We won't be able to avoid the garden. But if we understand the nature of the garden, we will be able to cross this garden and reach the real garden safely. In the next few years, you will hear names what we call the burst of technology. In 2016 was the first announcement of his called Vision 2030. In 2016, hardly anyone paid attention to Vision 2030. Few people who would have gone for Umrah would have seen on the cans of Zamzam, it was written Vision 2030. As the years progress, now if you go for Umrah, it's written on every worker's clothing, Vision 2030. His cap, Vision 2030. Every Zamzam small bottle, they could have written there, make sure you read Bismillah. Zamzam is a cure for every sickness. Zamzam will be for whatever you want. They could have written the virtues of Zamzam on a Zamzam can. But instead of writing that, they wrote Zamzam Vision 2030. You wonder what Zamzam got to do with the vision. You'll see any building there, Vision 2030. When you think perhaps it's a Saudi thing, Vision 2030, if you have to go and look now on the internet, you'll say Jamaica Vision 2030. Worse than that, we saw South Africa Vision 2030. When I saw that, I said South Africa got no vision. They got no lights. There was a sentence in the past, they say there's light at the end of the tunnel. Because the tunnel had no lights. So when you enter the tunnel in the past, now it's different. But in the past, when you entered the dark tunnel, it became dark. So they had a sentence, light at the end of the tunnel. So when South Africa, someone wrote there will be light at the end of the tunnel. And until they wrote, problem is when we reach the end of the tunnel, they say no electricity. So we got the globe there, but no light. How can you have a vision? But South Africa also got vision 2030. Egypt got, Dubai got, the world got. Have you ever heard the presidents of the whole world all getting the same dream? That they all dreamt last night, by 2030 my country is going to be right. Another one woke up, said 2030, called his secretary, 2030, there must be no poverty. There must be no this, there must be no 2030. The other one said 2030, the other one said 2030. All of them had the same dream. Oh, the whole world's governments are operating under some other government. And that government, 2030 is the vision. And now start speaking about it. So Saudi started speaking about it. And quietly other countries then began. How loudly Saudi spoke about it, up till today no one has spoken about it. But when you think, when is 2030? In 2030 there is no poverty in the world. How is that possible? When in South Africa there is no money in the country. Forget poverty in the world. How in 7 years they have to kill all our presidents? They've stolen all, they pulled all the money from them. In 7 years, revolution, no poverty, or the creation of another village in which there is no poverty. The creation of another village in which there is no poverty. So the people who live in that village understand in the world there is no problems. But outside that world is war. When you in your world of protection, no poverty, no sickness, no worries, no pollution, the best of water, the best of air. But what about the rest of the world? The rest of the world is animals, so don't worry about them. It's only for you the vision. Vision 2030. The first project of Vision 2030 is what is going to be known as the city of Neom. Neom is not an English word. Some say like a Latin word. But that M in Neom is an Arabic word, Neem, which means Mustaqbil. Mustaqbil means future. Neom means new, the new future. But even that word showed the connection of Arabic with the old Latin world. And Latin and Greek and their own culture was a different culture of the past, what we call satanic. So when Satanism will reach the Arab world, we will create a new future, Neom. The city of Neom will start. Although Vision 2030 is 7 years from now, but the city of Neom will open up, I thought 2025. Now they are announcing 2024. That the first island will open up. And you wonder what it got to do with me and you. I'll never go. Sharm el-Sheikh, I heard about it. Where I am going to go, Sharm el-Sheikh. So you got beaches, but I got my beach in Barbados. Why must I go to another beach? What you got in Neom? Problem with Neom is the place where it's situated, North Arabia. North Arabia means that if they want to advertise Neom, the easiest will be the cheapest flights for a person going for Hajj and Umrah will be through the city of Neom. On that, even the most pious will find his landing in the near future in Neom. And he will have a 2-day visa. And our nature is whenever our woman sees something for free, grab it. They say two. Normally when they have what we call the specials. If anyone has that little understanding, whenever you see a special, you must just go back 1 month. And you will see that same item 1 month ago had a different price. So then they just lift up the price and they say two for the price of one. But the price of the one is actually the price of two. But just because the auntie saw two for the price of, I think five of it. See, but 1 month ago the price is, you're not going to get this price again. How do you have specials? You think the company is losing out when they have specials. But because no one remembers what the price was yesterday, but they will say a ticket. And you got 2 days visa where you pay nothing, just visit the island. Think of the city of Saba. Think of the beauty of Quran. Allah Ta'ala says it was such a city that we made the areas of traveling very, very close. In the past to travel was very hard. And especially at night, where could you travel? No lights. سيروا فيها ليالي وأياما آمنين. We said to the people, in this land, relax. Whether you're traveling during the day or the night, just walk. In the day, it will be same like the night. You will be in complete peace. In the city of Neom, the description of the city will be 5 miles. In a 5-mile area, whatever you need, not 5 miles, in a 5-minute walk, whatever you need, you will be able to get. In a 5-minute walk. From one part to the other part, this is called the line. Some might have heard about the line. The line is a major project of Neom. In a 20-minute, what we call like speed, you'll be able to do the whole line. But no one needs to do the whole line. Because in your walking space is whatever you need. So a land where there will be no need for cars, there will be no need for the gases that the cars take out. If you need to get out, you go underground. You jump into that conveyance which will take you. A city where the air will be the most pure in the world. A city in which there will be no crime. A city in which night will be the same like day. When I read about that description, I said, look at Saba, where Allah said, your traveling in the night will be like the traveling of the day. It's a city which will have its own moon, the fake moon, which will always be the full moon. That full moon will light up the entire city. So whether you're traveling at night under the moon or during the day under the sun will not burn and the moon will not be dim. It will give light and it will create wherever you want to happiness. The past Saba is coming back in the future. And a man who will see that city, who lands there, he will say, this is the land I need for my family. Like how the people of the past moved towards Saba. Who won't want the land of Saba? We will see it. We might go for holiday. We might go, let's go scuba diving because the best beaches will be in Neom. We might say, let's climb the mountains because the best mountains will be in Neom. We might say, let's go for a picnic. The greatest picnics will be Neom. The best holiday will be Neom. When 2024 is just the beginning, for the next 6 years you will only hear about Neom. Invest in Neom. Come to live in Neom. We got place for you in Neom. Why die young? Come to Neom and oxygen will be pumped into the air. Already they said, our first introduction to Neom was when I visited Dubai a few years ago, maybe about 4 or 5 years. And then in Dubai they showed like how far away we were, how much we progressed. And then they said, where are we going? So in the introduction to where they are going, they said moving to a land, moving to a future. What words they used? But we will normally say kufr words. They say moving to a future in which there will be no sickness. One day you read that, what will be no sickness? Say a future where a man will enter our lands with a broken leg and he will come out with a brand new leg. With an artificial leg which will be more real than the real leg. They are on the brink of taking that out. Because they already have robots that look 100% like human. So when the robot got that leg, they can easily take that leg and put it on a human. Say, why you need your leg? Let me give you a better leg. There is a city where you will come in with a broken leg and you will go out walking straight. Who would want that land? There is a city where you will come home and you will just stand by your door. We already saw that. And just by standing, it recognizes you and your door will open. So a city where a crook can't enter your house. But South Africa crooks are masters. They put the gun on your head and tell you stand by your door. Finish. So how is it going to work in South Africa? They got no vision. One person spoke of the jar. He said, I don't think the jar will make it in South Africa. They'll steal whatever he puts up. Everything goes up gone next day. But in other countries, you see it. You see the cameras coming. You see the cameras everywhere. South Africa, you see the robot, what they call traffic light broken. They break it. They end it. The next day it's broken. In other countries, you see it. So you stand by your door, the door will open. As soon as you enter, everything starts moving in your house. Who do you want a life like in Saba? And I'll say during that time, I'll thank Allah. I'll make so much of shukr of Allah. Allah's next verse after Baldatun Tayyibah, we gave them the best of land. فَأَعْرَضُوا, but they turned away from the Allah immediately. Which means in a land in which there is no sickness, there will also be no deen. A land in which the system of Allah is not allowed to operate. What is the system of Allah? That we got a world where there's roses, but the roses comes with thorns. If you want the rose, you take the thorns. If you want to separate the thorns, the rose has to die. A world, the system of Allah is where health comes with the promise of sickness. And where wealth comes with the promise of poverty. It's a world where it's wavy. Sometimes it's night and it says go sleep. And sometimes it is day and it says go work. But in a system where it is not Allah's system, where it is at night, party who wants to, because we'll give you artificial lights. And in the day, party who wants to, because the day is for you. A system where you're healthy but you'll never get sick, that is for Jannah. In this world it can't work. A system where when you enter it, sicknesses just fall away. In such a system, do you ever think man will need dua? Does he need to make dua? Does he ever need to say, Allah, my head is paining? Does he ever need to say, I'm going to the doctor, Allah, let it be good? In such a system, may Allah make it, if ever we visit it, the first thing we will look in the system is there a madrasa for which my children can learn the deen? If you find there is no madrasa, ours and yours, Allah make it. Even if the lands around are at that moment difficult to live in. Think of this masala, this bayan that I'm giving today about Saba. That when the people of Saba found the land, they lost everything. Don't think I will be any different. That I will land there. I will put up my investment. I will build my house. I will say to my wife and children, other countries got crime. Other countries got inflation. The pollution in other countries is on such a high level. Cancer is spreading like wild. I want to take you to a land of peace, a land of safety. Enter in Neom of the future and look for a madrasa. If you do not find a madrasa, understand that your child, if not you, will not ever lift up his hand in dua because he never learned how to make dua. You will have a land where you can enjoy and play. You won't have to trouble him, he won't have to trouble you. From the morning till the evening, he'll be entertained. You won't have to worry of hospitals. You won't have to worry of crime. You won't have to worry of parks. Everything will be there for him. But one thing which you will not get is the ability to attribute it to Allah. فَأَعْرَضُوا, they turned their backs. فَأَرْسَلْنَا عَلَيْهِمْ سَيْرَ الْعَرِمِ. Allah Ta'ala said, we made the dam break. And when that dam collapsed, then that water which was there, water for life, began flooding. فَأَرْسَلْنَا عَلَيْهِمْ سَيْرَ الْعَرِمِ. Our translation, the very source of what they said is our life, the dam, was the cause of the destruction of all of them. In the city of Neom, what people will think is the one giving me all this happiness will be the one bringing destruction upon us. The people of Saba died in the floods. The people of Neom will die spiritual deaths in the floods of Kufr. The people of Neom will die spiritual deaths in the floods of Kufr. On that day when we will see Vision 2030, I am not speaking of something after 30 years. 2030 is around the corner. 2024 is next year. From next year, the introduction to the city of the future will open up to the world. More for non-Muslims, for Muslims it will be. More than non-Muslims, although Jews have already invested millions in it. They already got their lands. But why will they make it a city for the Muslims? Why they chose the place of Madian? What a place to choose. Musa alayhi salatu wasalam, most likely his first meeting with Almighty Allah occurred when he left Madian, where he stayed with his father-in-law Madian, and he moves upwards to the tip of what we call the Gulf of Aqaba. After you take the turn at the Gulf, you now go towards Egypt. As Musa alayhi salam is moving, his first meeting with Almighty Allah takes place on what was known as Jabal Musa, Mount of Musa, what was one of the examples of Mount Tur, because Mount Tur refers to every mountain which was fertile, on which Allah on different occasions spoke to Musa alayhi salam. The first place most likely where Musa alayhi salam spoke with Almighty Allah was going above Madian, before he makes the turn going towards Egypt. The city that was chosen for this huge level of kufr was that very land. And some have said the very mountain also. Which kufr mind understood where Musa alayhi salam was, when the scholars until today are trying to work out exactly where it was. But who knew that what a place they would choose for the worst of kufr? Above Madian, before the turn comes towards moving towards Egypt, the city of Neom, North Arabia. What a place for everyone going for Hajj. Then why don't you visit Saba of the past? Mubarak to the one who will think of Quran. لَقَدْ كَانَ لِسَبَإٍ فِي مَسْكَنِهِمْ آيَةٌ. Remember in the houses of Saba, for the Arabs and the non-Arabs, what a lesson. What a lesson. That how they lost their lives and their deen in the land of the past. Don't lose your life and deen in the city of the future. فَأَعْرَضُوا. They had that city. Within that few miles, everything was there. There is such a level in that land where you would think they would be shukr guzar. They would appreciate, they would thank Allah. Allah says, قَالُوا رَبَّنَا بَاعِدْ بَيْنَ أَسْفَارِنَا. They began saying, Allah, meaning our Lord, why you made it so short, this land? There's no excitement anymore. Couldn't they have made it longer, the journey? When man is given Jannah on earth, he'll complain of the hur of Jannah also. Me and you will always say, some friends will meet, you say, you're not getting married, you say, I'm waiting for my hur. That hur, if she comes in this world, the nature of the world is man will complain about her. Nature is, you got Jannah on earth, you will still look for Jannah. They said, Allah, why couldn't the journey be further? Allah said they made zulm on themselves. We tore them into pieces. إن في ذلك لآيات لكل صبار شكور. Allah says, indeed in this there are lessons for those who got sabr and who know how to attribute to Allah. Sabbar, a lot of sabr. And when you will see that garden, don't run. You will have to hold yourself for a while and say, I know it looks so tempting, but I was also told by my Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam that the Dajjal will show his gardens to you. When you will see the garden, understand whoever enters that garden is falling into Jahannam. It was not that you will just go straight into Jahannam, it was whoever will go and love and enjoy, and his next generation will fall. Jahannam is burning. When you will see these gardens, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, whoever will be tested with the fire of the Dajjal. They explain the fire of the Dajjal means the test of the Dajjal. He says, but he has recited Surah Kahf. Almighty Allah will make for him the fire of the Dajjal, the test of the Dajjal cool. Like how Allah made it the fire cool for Ibrahim alayhi salam. Ibrahim alayhi salam's fire, he could not run away from it. Even if he would never want to go in the fire, they were going to throw him in. Me and you will not be able to run away from this coming fire. We are going to be thrown into this garden. The one who reads Surah Kahf will find that fitan, that trial, that tribulation, that difficulty so easy, bearable. It will not burn him. You will find it will become cool and easy the exam, like how the fire was made for Ibrahim alayhi salam. On a Friday, ensure we do not miss Surah Kahf. We cannot get the whole Surah, 10 verses of the Surah. 20, 30 is around the corner. 2024 is next year. If we have never started, it is time to start. The land of the Arabs are becoming gardens very fast. The question is now to me and you, are you ready? Are you ready? Am I ready? With Surah Kahf and the power that the Surah gives, may Allah allow us to now go into the future. A lot of things will change in the next few years. At that time, people will say, where to now? Where do I move? Where do I invest? Which lands? There will be many lands. Always in the future when you will move, try to always search for a land of Islam. You might say, but where is that land? The answer is that when the time for Hijrah comes, Allah creates Madina. A city will be created at the right time, but already have in the mind that we cannot always think I'm going to live in my own land forever. In the era of fitna, a time will come for many people that it's time to move. When that movement comes, don't move towards the cities of the future. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam was asked, when fitan will come, where must we go? He said, alaykum bisham. He said, grab onto the lands of Sham. One narration, he said, before Qiyamah, the lands of Sham will return to what it was at the beginning, meaning a land of goodness. And the lands of Iraq will return to what it was in the beginning, meaning a land of evil. Iraq and Iran has already become the land of evil. Shiism, Shiite after the American invasion. The Sunnis of Iraq by the day are being wiped out. Once upon a time, forget Iraq, Iran. Iran was the land of the greatest of scholars of Hadith. When we hear of the mighty Ottoman Empire, but in knowledge the Ottomans would send everyone to study in the lands of Iran. In the era of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Iran and Iraq combined was known as Iraq. It was a beautiful land, but it was a Persian land. It was the land of the worship of the devil. Iran has already gone to its old. Iraq, after the invasion of America, by the day the people of the Sunnah are being wiped out. And it is becoming a land of Sharia. As for the lands of Sham, for years and years, what we call the family of, today it's Bashar al-Assad, before it was his father. It was controlled by what they call the Ba'ath Party, in Arabic it's al-Ba'ath, the Arab Renaissance it's called. It was a system to prevent or destroy Islam in the lands of the Arabs. They had such a tight grip on the lands of Sham, but by the day the grip is breaking. There is something now called the Free Syrian Army, which is recognized by the world, and how they are pushing this evil force by the day back. You wonder what Russia got to do in Sham. Poor Russia can't look after itself there at the moment, getting bombed by the day. You might think Russia, I think they're winning the war. Russia is not winning at all. From day one it was known Ukraine is going to win this war, like how they knew that Germany is not going to win the war. They knew Germany was not going to win the war, and they made sure they made the Turks join with Germany, so that at the end of the war they could say whoever joined with Germany must also be attacked. Otherwise World War had nothing to do with the Muslim world. But in reality it had everything to do with the Muslim world. It was not a European war, it was a war on Islam. Germany was just a name, it was called the mighty Germany. 100 years they had that rule which was called the rule of the leopard, panther. The mighty Germany, they would attack, it was called blitz, like so fast, no one thought they could collapse. The people who started the war knew Germany is collapsing. Poor Hitler never knew why he's fighting. Russia entered the war, they don't know why they entered the war. The president of Russia doesn't know why he entered. And amazing, just like how when World War took place, just before that, the Ottoman Empire signed contracts with Germany that if ever you enter the war, we'll go with you. Because of which so many Muslims passed away in World War. And some have even written more Muslims died in the war than non-Muslims. You think it's a European dish? And we always, when you were small, knew Russia and Chechnya war will never end. When the Russia-Ukraine war started, people got shocked that Chechnya is fighting for Russia. They're supposed to be celebrating, finally you rubbish got what you deserve. So Ukraine bombed them more. Suddenly you saw Chechnya is going for them. When it came out before this, they signed contracts. They signed contracts. On the news you won't see it. But you must know how many Muslims are passing away in this war. Because the Russians are not letting their own people go, they are pushing everyone else. Now everyone has become Russian. Who yesterday they hated them, now you are material for war. Some people don't even know perhaps how to use a gun. They take care, they teach them in 1 week, go in the war, go fight, just shoot something. So many are dying. But Russia was never going to lose this war. I might be wrong. If I'm wrong, then at least you know my little bit. 2030 might not happen by 2030. But if Russia starts losing, then it's time we all wake up to say it's a new era. And how World War II ended and it brought in the new era. But we find today the world never ever imagined before World War. A new stage of history is being launched in the next 7 years. And this is what is called Vision 2030. There will be a lot of changes that are going to happen. And every change will come in a nice manner. But for the people of Iman, we must be able to look beyond the smiling face. a man who recites Quran and the one who recites Surah Kahf, Allah will bless him with the ability to see kufr where it is. He will know where to invest, where not to invest, where to think of moving, where not to move. So, alaykum bisham, think of the land of Sham. But the world calls today Turkey. So Turkey is very huge. It goes into Iraq also. It goes into old Sham. One part of Turkey is actually Sham. Where the earthquake took place, that is actually Sham. They call it Turkey. So Sham goes back into Turkey also. And then it carries on in what they call Syria and Jordan. There's a lot of places where men can think, alaykum bisham. The moment you can't make a decision now because it's still not time, but the mind must start getting ready. And if we're so close to the end, are you ready? Am I ready? It did not mean that I and you think like how our fathers and grandfathers thought. The only worry will be, what will my son do? So it was, what will my son do? And then the whole mind was on that, okay, when I pass away, I'm going to leave wasiyah. And you take this land, and you take that house, and you take that business. That's what my son is going to do. Ours mind will have to be, what is my son? Where is my son going to go? And who is he going to join? That must be my fikr and your fikr. And for that fikr, then we must make arrangements. That if the time comes for me or my children to make the move, a little bit aid I have already created for them in this land. Alaykum bisham. Said, go to the lands of Sham. This is the land of the Abdal, the selected servants of Allah. This is the land which will be the capital of the Mahdi, Damascus. It will be the land which will go back to the goodness it once upon a time had. To think of these lands. As for the cities of the future in Neom, they perhaps will not have bombs falling from on top, but by the day they will have Iman coming out from the hearts. And we have to think of living, don't look for pure air, look for a pure religion. Don't look for a small distance of walking and everyone is there. Look if the masjid is within walking distance. If the madrasa, don't fall for the slide that my child will do online madrasa. Already I visited some people living in estates. An estate is so hard. I don't know in your Barbados if you have got estates, because one good thing about you all have got nothing. Where you are going to have estates? The countries that got, like your whole country, your city is an estate. Everything is beautiful. But estates means like what is called closed cities. Even South Africa. That's like a city in the world where you don't know it exists. Closed. But when you reach the gate, you need permission, special permission to enter it. And then you have to drive 20 kilometers, it's not even 20 miles. You have to drive 20. There's cameras everywhere. You drive a little faster than 20, you're going to get a fine. You know what 20 driving is? That itself is Jannah. By the time you reach your house, you're tired. No noise in that place. No noise. No neighbor knows who his neighbor is. Because they say all these neighbors are such that they don't want anyone to know they're living in that house because someone will kidnap them. So they're living a life of what is called complete privacy. If that man dies also, no one will know for years he's dead. The house is just there, you don't know if he's there or not. Someone said to me, I'll give you one night in this place. So I asked somebody else, what is there to do? He said, wonderful sea. I said, can you swim there? He said, no, you can't swim. You look at the ocean. I said, what am I going to do there? He said, no noise. You drive 20. So I told him, how will you go for salah? So he said, hey, very hard, you know. He says, it's faster for me to go from one end of the city to the other of this village, super city. For me to go from one end to the other, it works out faster for me to come out of the thing, go on the highway, drive, come on the other side and enter. Because if I'm going inside, I have to go 20. That man who's living there, when the time of Fajr Salah comes, he is not going to go for Salah. So why don't you build a masjid in this place? They say the law is no masjids allowed. You can put a musalla in your garage. Few people can come, no masjid is allowed. So how could you go love? When you will ask, how will your child study? They say online madrasa. That online madrasa will never work for the iman of any child. It's called environment, it is called sunnah. When you will move in the next few years, may Allah let this few words of what I have mentioned, Allah save the iman of all of us. When you will see the beautiful gardens in the future, think of Saba. Say if they couldn't survive, I don't think I'm going to survive also. Say this is not my land. This is not my land. Raja Hakim Muhammad Aftasab composed one beautiful poem. I don't know the wording now, but I remember years ago when we went to the Khanqa, the one person used to sing it. They say you have Nawabs in India, Nawabs like lords, like very rich people. So you see, I went with my chef to one of the Nawabs, they hosted him. They call it Banglas. Banglas was like palace, like lord. So I walked with my chef in and I saw the beautiful land of this man, the palace. He said, I was a boy who had nothing at all. So that night I'm looking at everything. He says, but my heart never attached to a penny. All the young at that time, he was so young. He was a friend of Allah. So that night I composed some poetry. His tongue was unique from the beginning. The next day I read it to my chef. He said, my chef is moved. In that poetry, he said, oh person of ignorance, don't look at this here as the palaces of Jannah. Remember, this is the gardens of Saba. The poem was on that. And remember, this is the gardens of Saba. How beautiful that is, my chef. How you saw it, Saba. The man of knowledge, the man of Quran, his eye will go to ayat. And then Allah said, ayah, there's definitely lessons in Saba. Me and you must take that lesson. وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. اللهم وفقنا لما تحب وترضى من القول والفعل والهدي إنك على كل شيء قدير. اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه. Allah, guide us towards that which makes you happy, towards those words and actions which make you happy, towards the company of those people who will push us towards your happiness. Allah, bless us with the love of good, the love of the people of good, the love of the actions of good. Allah, pull us towards Jannah. Allah, in your kindness, pull us towards the people of Jannah. Allah, pull us towards the actions that will take us towards Jannah. Allah, save us from the fire of Jahannam. Allah, save us from the company of those people who will be the fuel of the fire of Jahannam. Allah, protect us from those actions which will push one into the fire of Jahannam. Allah, show us the truth. Allah, let us recognize the truth. Allah, grant us the ability that before death we start following the truth in its entirety. Allah, that which is a lie and false, وَأَرِنَا الْبَاطِلَ بَاطِلًا. That which is a lie, Allah, allow us to be able to see the reality of the lie. وَارْزُقْنَا اجْتِنَابًا, and grant us the ability to stay far. Allah, there will be that Jamaat that will walk behind the jar, that will run behind the jar. Even if their husbands or fathers have to lock them up in the houses, they will escape and walk. Allah, do not make us of that Jamaat. Allah, there will be that gathering that will oppose the jar till the ending. Even if they lose their lives, even if they lose their families, even if they lose their livestock, even if they lose their lands, even if they lose their dwellings, Allah, but they will never be ready to lose their iman. Allah, with afiyah, with izzat, with raqat and with salamati, Allah, allow us to be the army that will oppose the Dajjal till the ending. Allah, let us never lose our iman when we have reached so close to the end. Allah, as you protected the people of the past, الَّذِينَ أَنْعَمْتَ عَلَيْهِمْ. Allah, you made in'am of the people of the past and they became the people of Jannatul Firdaus. Allah, make in'am upon every one of us. Allah, make kindness upon every one of us.
Allah, shower your mercies upon every one of us. Allah, Jannah is not small. Allah, in Jannatul Firdaus, indeed, there is place for every one of us. Allah, shower your karam on every one. Allah, make every one of us the inheritors of Jannatul Firdaus. Allah, let there be no hisab for us. Let there be no kitab for us. Let there be no difficulty in the grave for us. Let there be no difficulty on the plains of Ashar for us. Allah, let there be no worry and concern when standing in front of the scales. Allah, let us move over the sirat with the speed of lightning. Allah, make us travel higher and higher in Jannah until we are able to enter into the highest of palaces of Jannatul Firdaus. Allah, bless us with the companionship of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allah, whatever good Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam ever asked for, bless us with all of that good. Whatever protection he ever sought protection from, Allah, protect us from all that evil. Allahumma Rabbana taqabbal minna innaka anta as-sami'ul alim wa tub alayna innaka anta at-tawwabur rahim. Bismillahi ma sha Allah, la quwwata illa billah. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun ala al-mursalin walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.